Hello students. The last class we had the reasons for low productivity and let us discuss what are the various measures to improve the agriculture productivity in India. And some of them are institutional reforms, increasing irrigational facilities, improving the returns to the farmers and farmers education. So when we talk about the institutional reforms, the one thing that comes to our mind solve the major problems of agriculture sector is land reform. You can consider one-time solution for all the problems prevailing in the agriculture sector. Strict implementation of land reforms has paved a way for agriculture activity. The next one is increasing irrigational facilities. Today, as we have seen in the causes of low productivity, we said that still 60% of the land is depending on the monsoon. Have to develop by construction of major irrigational projects. We can increase irrigational facilities so that the farmers need not depend much on the irregular monsoon and uncertain. Again, these irrigational facilities again depend on the rainfall, but development of more and more major irrigational facilities, that is construction of dams, major dams, will take care of can cover the maximum land for the irrigation culture. The next one is improving the returns to the farmers. Unless and until the financial, the economic and social status of the farmers are improved, there cannot be any changes in the farmers. The economic standards as well as social standards of the farmers need to be improved to increase our agriculture productivity. So when I use the word economic standards, that the returns what the farmers are getting, the income the farmers are getting needs to be improved. For that, we need the support of the government to increase their economic and social positions of them. The most important is farmer education. When I talk about education to them, here we refer to the technical education, the adult education and technical, the agriculture education is a very important. That is awareness about the modernization, awareness about the adaptability to the technology, awareness about the cropping pattern. All this has to be educated to the farmers. Only then there is a possibility to improve the agriculture productivity in the institutional reforms with regard to land reforms. Trying to construct with a major irrigational project will improve the irrigational facilities, taking care of improvising the returns, economic and social returns to farmers and their education, the technical education with regard to the agriculture, how to go about with agriculture, how to implement the technology, how to modernize the methodology, and how to decide the cropping pattern. All this will increase our agriculture productivity. This is a 10 marks question which comes as the reasons for low productivity and what are the measures to solve or increase agriculture productivity. The next topic we have is land reform. In the previous topic, I was talking about this land reforms, saying that it is one-time solution to all the problems that are prevailing in the agriculture sector. Let us get more into this land reforms. Let us say what exactly is a land reform. It is the government intervention, the government interfering, and this intervention is basically to bring up the changes in the agrarian structure. So the government implementation to bring the revolutionary changes in the agriculture sector, we consider to be the land reforms, or any reform taken by the government on the agriculture is still considered to be the land reforms. And the main purpose, the main objective of the land reforms is to increase the productivity. So the intervention of the government or any changes, the revolutionary changes by the government on the agriculture is defined as the land reforms. Now, what exactly is this? Let us get more detail about land reforms. We can consider redistribution of agricultural land, basically to protect the interest of the landless farmers. Agriculture holdings are not equally distributed. There is so much of inequalities in our agriculture distribution. So here we are emphasizing on redistribution of agricultural land so that there is equal distribution and most of the landless farmers will also have their share in the agriculture land. Although there is one more meaning of land reforms, to bring the main objective of land reforms is to bring economic and non-economic changes on the land for the development of agriculture. So when we talk about land reforms in detail, it is redistribution of agricultural land and bringing up economic and non-economic changes for the development of the agriculture. What are the major objectives? This is a 2 marks question. What are the various objectives of land reforms? The most important is protection to the tenants or protection to the tenants from exploitation. The main purpose of these reforms introduced by the government for the interest of the farmers protect them from the exploitation. The second one is removal of structural impediments in agrarian structure which are inherited from the past. There are so many drawbacks and some of them have been inherited to us. So that has to be removed in our agriculture. The next one is provision of security of tenure to the tiller of the soil. Most of the farmers are the tenants. They take the land on lease and there should be some security on the land when the tenants are taking the land on lease. The next one is assurance of equality of status and opportunity all sections of the rural people. As I said earlier, there is social status, social upliftment and economic upliftment to our farmers has to be still to be taken care. The next one is provision of land ownership to the weaker sections of the rural society. The magic of ownership itself changes the land into gold is a very common saying in the agriculture sector. So once the farmers are provided with the ownership right, that changes maximum problems or solves the maximum problems in the agriculture sector. The next one is improvement in the agriculture production through land reclamation. What do you mean by this particular one? Converting the unfertile land into fertile land called as land reclamation and improvement on agriculture. And that definitely, in case if there is so much of land reclamation, if this project is taken up, there is definitely increased agriculture production because production totally depends on the fertility of the soil. The next one is establishment of direct relation between the government and the cultivator. There should be direct access between the government and the farmers. And today, the efforts of the government are providing many steps where the farmers are having direct contact with the government. Next one is rational use of scarce land resource. India has a share of 2.5% of the total land area of the world and we need to make the best use of our limited resources to provide agriculture or to increase agriculture cultivation. The next one is redistribution of the land to the poor. This is something which is very, very important. The land is not equally distributed and in case if we are going with the concept of redistribution of agriculture land, that means that we can emphasize on equality and social justice by equal distribution of land to the poor. And this again, in case if we are trying to remove all these problems, that means that we are increasing the efficiency and the productivity. That is a major outlook or major objective of the land reforms. This is again a very important for 2 marks. The next one is What are the various components of land reforms? When I talk about the components of land reform, the first of them is abolition of intermediaries. When we talk about, let us get into more about this. There were many systems what the Britishers have adopted in our country. The Britishers used to appoint these officers, collect the land revenue from the Indian farmers, and there was more than these people were Jamindari, Talukdar, Jagirdars, where many systems were adopted to collect the revenues from Indian farmers, and they used to collect beyond what they are being asked. This was completely drained our wealth to the Britishers by most of the policies adopted by these systems have drained the complete of agriculture sector. So soon after the land reforms which we implemented, the first and the foremost and one that we have implemented is completely remove these intermediaries who have drained the complete of agricultural wealth to the Britishers. Next one is tenancy reforms. What exactly? How do you define the tenancy reforms? Any reform taken by the government to protect the tenants are called as tenancy reforms. The person who takes the land on lease are called tenants, and they are facing and they were facing many problems. What are the major problems that the tenants are facing? There is no security on the land. The land revenue, the land rent is very, very high, and most of the farmers were the landless. I mean, they didn't have the land for the cultivation. These were the major problems for the tenants were facing. So after the land reforms, a part of land reforms is tenancy reforms, which has been introduced by the government to protect our tenants. Under that, they have come out with regulation of rent. Earlier, before the land reforms was implemented, the rent was very, very high. More than 50 to 60% of the total produce was the rent. And after the tenancy reforms have implemented, they have regularized and has made uniform within the state and between the, and here they have fixed a rent, and they have regularized it, and they have fixed not more than one third, or to certain places it is not more than 1/5 of the total produce. That is one thing that they have introduced after the tenancy reforms has been implemented. The next one is security of tenure. There are certain guidelines. There was no security to the tenants when they were taking the land on lease. So this reform has taken, the tenancy reform has provided security of tenure. That is, an agreement can be entered, will be entered between the landlord and the farmer, and within the agreement time, within the agreement period, as long as the tenant is paying the rent, the owner, the landlord has no rights to take away the land. So this security was provided to the tenants so that they can invest money, they can invest their services to increase agriculture cultivation. The next one is providing ownership rights to the tenants. As I told earlier, this is a magical thing that can change the sand into gold. That is, by providing the ownership rights to the farmers, they can increase agriculture production like much. They can increase they can provide more, or they can increase agriculture cultivation. So here we have under tenancy reforms, the three reforms they have introduced, that is regulation of rent, they have regularized it and has made it uniform. Security of tenure, that is, all guidelines have been fixed between the landlord and the tenant. They enter into an agreement, and in that agreement, as long as the tenant is paying the rent on time, the landlord has no rights to take away the land within the agreement period, and providing the ownership rights. This comes under the tenancy. The next one is ceiling on land holding. Ceiling itself is fixing a limit. Here, the government to provide equal opportunities, to provide equality and social justice, to provide equality in the land distribution, the government has introduced ceiling on land holding. that is fixing a maximum limit a farmer can hold it. And to make recommendations on this, government has called for a conference where all the chief ministers of different states have made certain recommendations on to what extent the ceiling has to be fixed. And over there, they have decided a farmer with a size of 5 members in a family can have 18 acres of land if it is a fertile land. Beyond that, a ceiling will be fixed and that can be taken by the government. Likewise, 54 acres without irrigation, a dry land which has no irrigational facilities. In case if the farmer is having such kind of land, they can have 54 acres of land. And the ceiling limit is fixed for a size of a family of 5 members. The size of the family is 5 members, and every additional member in the family will be entitled to have additional land. Likewise, every member of the family, any member who is of 18 years and above, is again entitled to have a separate ceiling. The next one is SCs and STs have certain priority in the distribution of the surplus land. The ceiling on land holdings provided a provision, have given a path for equality in the land distribution. The next one is consolidation of land holding. When we talk about consolidation, here we mean that bringing together all the fragmented land into one single block, that is called as consolidation. What is the advantage of this particular measure? When the land is subdivided and fragmented, it is not encouraging for any modernization and is becoming very difficult for a farmer to supervise all this fragmented land. So thereby the government has come out with a provision: all the fragmented land, subdivided land will be pulled up in one single block, and this has increased our agriculture cultivation. The next one is cooperative farming. Among all the measures, cooperative farming is a successful mantra for increasing the agriculture production and agriculture development. It is nothing but the farmers will form a society. The society will take the responsibility of having the joint cultivation. Cooperative farming, the word itself says that all the farmers will join together, pull up the land, pull up the techniques, pull up the machinery, and do the joint cultivation and have the share according to the contribution that they have made to the society. The society is again elected on a democratic lines, and they take care of providing agriculture productivity, take care of providing, sometimes they also take care of, the society take care of providing the marketing facilities. The society also take care of the warehousing facilities so that the farmers can wait till the prices are high in the market so that they fetch high returns or more. The next one is there are certain critical appraisal of land. What are the various criticism of this particular one? Loopholes in the act. The act itself, there are certain acts, for example, ceiling on land holdings and consolidation of land holdings, unless and until the farmers have the recorded proper legal papers on the land, the consolidation cannot be taken place. Ceiling on land holdings, very few people will give an update information of having the additional land. So there are certain drawbacks in the act. The next one is lack of political will or lack of political support. So even today, the landlords have a major role to play in the rural areas. The next one is there are certain legal hurdles. There are legal hurdles in terms of having the proper land records. In case if they don't have it, the farmers do not have it, then it is again a subject of discomfort in the implementation of the land reform. Next topic we have is green revolution. What exactly is this particular one and what is its impact on the Indian? Green revolution is defined as bringing up the revolutionary changes in the agriculture sector called as green revolution or revolutionary changes. And this is green revolution is a part of the new agriculture strategy which was introduced by the government in 1960. And here they are the main focus of the green revolution is to increase the productivity by employing, by implementing, by utilizing or by applying the modern inputs like high yielding variety of seeds, fertilizers, and taking care of the agriculture, revolutionary changes in the agriculture sector. Let us get more detail about green revolution and how it impacts on the Indian economy. Increase in the agriculture productivity and production. The main purpose of green revolution is to increase the productivity and production. That is the main objective of them. And for this, they have come out with very innovative programs like IADP, IAAP, HYVP, various innovative programs which are the outcome of the various agriculture research universities with the help of these programs. Let us get more detail about these programs. In IADP, Intensive Agriculture Development Program, and IAAP, Intensive Agriculture Area Program, HYVP, High Yielding Variety Program. With the help of these innovative programs, there was more scope to increase agriculture production and productivity. Under IADP program, the government recognizes the areas which has high fertile soil and with the help of the financial support, with the help of technology, with the help of the cropping pattern, by providing the basic education to the farmers, they are identifying such areas and increasing the agriculture production. The increase in agriculture production with the help of green revolution has been put into practice with the help of various innovative programs. The next one is employment. Green revolution is increasing the agriculture production with the various innovative programs and that directly and indirectly creating many employment opportunities. And when employment is increasing, definitely the share of the farmers, the economic returns of the farmers are also increased. And the next one is improvement in exports of the in the country. The volume of exports has increased tremendously, drastically from after implementation of the Green Revolution. To sum up, Green Revolution is a part of new agriculture strategy that is revolutionary changes in the agriculture sector, emphasizing to increase the productivity and production, create more and more employment opportunities, increase the economic returns to the farmers, and playing a very important share in the exports of our agriculture. The next topic is agriculture credit. What is this agriculture credit? Financial support plays a very important role as we give importance to the other machineries and agriculture holdings. Equal importance is again the financial support. And for this, what are the various requirements farmers require and what is the duration for which they require? The requirements of the farmers are basically classified into short-term loans, medium-term loans, long-term loans, and here the short-term loans when we consider a loan or financial support what the farmers basically require for less than 15 months for basically for the purpose of cultivation. It could be the purchase of seeds, fertilizers, fodder. For these kind of requirements, the farmers require short-term loans just for 1 year to 15 months. The next one is the farmers require the medium-term loans and the duration of these kind of loans are 15 months to 5 years. They are basically, the farmers require these kind of loans for any improvements on land, for buying the cattle, for buying any agriculture implements, increase agriculture productivity. A loan that takes beyond 5 years we consider to be the long-term loans, and this is basically they require to purchase the land, they require modernization on the land, they require to have developed irrigational facilities and heavy technology, to implement heavy technology, increase agriculture production. They require this kind of loan. And here the farmers require for the, in case if the farmers are taking the financial support for the development of agriculture, we consider that loan to be the productive loan. But in case if the farmers are taking the loan for performing marriages or any social ceremonies or any festivals or religious functions, we consider that loan to be the unproductive loan. Productive loan gives a scope for the farmers to repay it, whereas unproductive is creating major problem in the rural area. What are the various sources the farmers are getting the credit with? Which is basically classified into three. It is institutional, non-institutional, and formal, semi-formal, and non-formal. In case if the farmers are taking from money lenders, because they almost contribute 93% of the total credit, money lenders, landlords, traders, then it is non-institutional sources. And in case if the farmers are taking for productive purpose, it is basically productive is taken care by the financial institutions, and we already have seen NABARD plays a very important role, which is considered, which is an apex bank for the rural credit, which takes care of the financial requirements of the rural population. But there are certain advantages what non-institutional money lenders, traders, commission agents, they provide loans both for productive and unproductive. Unproductive loans are for loans for unproductive purpose are not taken care by any institutional sources. And because of illiteracy, they find it very easy to take the loans from the money lenders and landlords. But the major disadvantages today, rural indebtedness, is just because of the non-institutional sources of credit, because the farmers are basically cheated and exploited, high rate of interest from non-institutional of. Let us talk about the institutional sources of credit. They are, basic objective of them is they provide timely credit, they provide adequate credit, and the basic objective of institutional is to eliminate all the money lenders. And here this movement has started, the cooperative movement started in 1904 to provide the short and long-term loans, and this works under three-tier structure. At Primary Agriculture Credit Society, the other one is District Cooperative Credit Society, and other level is State Cooperative Banks, which works at state level, the District Cooperative Banks at district level, and the village level we have the Primary Agriculture Credit Society. This particular cooperative bank take care of the maximum part of the financial requirements of the farmers. We have the commercial banks, which again plays a very important role in the rural credit. And after nationalization of commercial banks, their contribution in the rural credit has played a very drastic role. Have regional rural banks, which also plays a very important role in the rural.